I need to get out there, right? So it is tough. You're doing everything through FaceTime and screen and
yeah.
Mind you, my technology knowledge is getting quite better.
Yes, it is.
I'm finding things I didn't know existed before.
I would just like to say what Rob said to me before we started this, and then we'll get into the good stuff. He literally said to me, you can go down in the bottom left of your screen and improve your image and take away all the wrinkles. So I would just like to thank you for that.
You can just click them back on if you want. I did the same thing. Older than you.
I cannot hit him. I'm not close enough, but he is wearing his Hawaiian shirt, and we do want to talk about sort of what's happening. This is your gig here. Like, what can we do? What options do we have with our mortgages and things?
So it does the options. Okay, so I just did a quick little presentation on this. I'm going to put it out really quickly because I know we don't have a lot of time, but deferred payments is obviously the big thing that the banks have been pushing. And one of the things I always said to everybody too, be careful with the deferred payments, because even though it is immediate relief, on the flip side, banks are there for profit. Understand that. They got to take care of their shareholders. That's number one. Number two is their employees. Number three is the consumer. So we're down at the bottom.
Can I just ask you to explain something? Because everyone throws around this word deferred payments. So what is the definition of that? So
really with a deferred payment, and banks will do this in one of two ways, is either you're going to pay it all up front at the end of the, well, not up front, but at the end of the 6-month term. And if you're lucky, your bank will add it on to the mortgage payment over the course of the term. But somewhere it's deferred, you still have to pay it. It's not forgiveness, it's deferred, right? So you need to be very clear with your bank. How is this getting deferred? Where am I paying it back? Where do I do it? So my point to this is just be careful with it, because all of a sudden you could be in a worse position in 6 months where all of a sudden, okay, I'm trying to play catch up and now I've got a higher payment that I got to deal with. So let's, and what I was trying to bring out is let's look at some of the alternatives that are also out there. So skip a payment was one. That usually gets added on to the back end of the mortgage term.
What's the difference between a deferred payment and a skip a payment? They sound like the same thing to me.
They are pretty much the same thing. Usually skip a payment was only given for 1 month, but deferred can be added on to the mortgage. So if your payment was $800 a month before, now it might go up to $1,000 as an example. So you're still paying interest on that deferred payment regardless of, until you take it 3 months, 4 months, 5, 6, up to 6 months, or whatever they do. So you got to remember, banks are not losing money on the deferred. If anything, they're actually making profit off of it. And you know what, and that's fine. Fortunately, it's the way it is. Now, any solution that I come out with, I'll tell you right now, somebody's going to make profit from it, but which one works better for you? And that's really what it comes down to. And one of the suggestions, the big one I like the most is, hey, if you're in a 20 or 25 year, even less amortization, let's go back, let's refinance the mortgage, and let's expand that amortization to a longer period to bring your payments down. And if you're worried about, oh my God, a 30-year amortization, well, we have prepayment privileges that can take it back down. You can take a 30 down to a 20 or a 15 even, right? So, you could take advantage of those prepayments. So it's not.
Which means, and just to define that, that's like annually, you can put a lump sum on that mortgage.
Or increase your monthly payment by 20% with most lenders, right? At least the alternates, the other side will definitely do it. The next thing, just kind of go through, I'll skip right through it, but there's refinancing to pull out equity, to try to carry you for a few months instead of deferring it. It's probably a cheaper way to go.
There's and the line of credit. They want to do that now. I loved what you said earlier, was because now if you're still employed and you have that ability now, right?
Yeah, I'm going to get into the now and why now, because it's definitely important. Line of credit's another thing. Harder to qualify on the line of credit, but the rates on that have dropped considerably. So it is a great option. And then you can, refinance once your term comes up, so you're not paying a penalty. And I said this before, you could downsize in your house. So, if you want to sell, maybe now is not a bad time to sell, and then ride this out and rebuy again in 8 months. But that's more of an investment strategy versus anything else. But if you need to liquidate, sometimes that's an option. And the reason why I'm telling people to jump into this kind of scenario now, or at least take a look at the options, is because if you miss a mortgage payment, your credit bureau is going to get damaged for the next 7 years, right off the top. You'll have a really hard time getting financing anywhere. Even with what's going on, I doubt banks are going to give forgiveness on, COVID-19, it doesn't matter. You still missed your payment. Doesn't matter. That's the way it's going to go. And it's the same thing with missing payments on credit cards or being late payments on car payments or anything else like that gets reported on the credit bureau. And guys, I'm going to tell you something, by the way. So Equifax has already reported that they do not have the technology, or the banks, the technology to, how do I say, process the deferred payment. So if you go for the deferred payment, there's a good chance it's actually going to show up on your credit bureau as a missed payment already. So then you're going to have to go back to the bank and have that corrected, which could take months, especially with all the deferred payments going on. So that's something new. I only just read it yesterday, I think, how that could work with Equifax and TransUnion. They just don't have the capability to take care of it. And that's going to damage your credit going forward.
Right.
So you got to really, that's a scary thing. So you kind of want to jump ahead of this. You don't know where the housing market's going to be. You want to maximize your equity while you can. Banks are already tightening up on lending. We're already seeing that in a drastic way. We're already getting emails daily. Hey, we're not, they're doing it because everybody right now is trying to cash pile the money. That's really what it comes down to. Okay. Which is why the government's trying to flood the economy with money through the quantum easing process, right? Which has never been done in Canada before. But we also do know that when this is over, inflation will come from it, right? So that's the side effect of quantum easing. So expect that to happen. So if, and with high inflation comes high interest rates. So this is all coming down the road. We're not talking tomorrow, but maybe 2 years, 3 years down, maybe even a year from now, right? But when this is over, that's the thing. And it's really hard to get that money back out of the economy. And think of it this way. You've got extra cash flow now in the economy and people start to buy things, those products become demand, right? And it's going to happen in the housing market too. That's why I said if the housing market corrects, it's going to be short-lived, right? More than likely, right? Yeah. You just need to get ahead of it. So sometimes, like I said, this is for sure, we're in a bad situation. Things stink right now. But every time something stinks, there's always a good opportunity. And I'll give a good example of that. 2008, we had the housing market crash in the United States. It didn't come here. I don't think it expected to come here again, but there was an opportunity there. So how many people actually went out and bought property in the United States in 2008 and took advantage of the situation, right? I do know a lot of people panicked and said, there's no way I'm not going to do it. But I know all the ones that did do it are, thanking the gods right now that they did, right? That's right. Same opportunity is going to come up. We're going to see something similar. It's just, where is it going to be? And you need to prepare for it, right? And now is the time to kind of prepare for that.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. Just so that's good advice. So basically, just to sum that up, if they are able, refinancing would be a good thing right now to extend your amortization so your payments are lower. Your credit rating is going to be affected even with the deferred potentially. So you got to be careful about that. And maybe one of the first things they can do is call their lender and see if they can do a skip a payment. That just added on to the back end, and then a month until they can start to figure out these other things.
You got it. Yeah, like I said.
One of the things I just wanted to touch base because I'm talking to clients every day, as I'm sure you are. And one of my clients today called in for the CERB, for the emergency relief. And they said it was or they didn't call in, they did it online. And they said it was literally, they just asked, the question was, do you fall into this category? She said, yes. And then they said, okay, complete, your check will be in your bank in 2 to 3 days.
Wow. So that's good. So at least they got that organized anyway, right?
Yeah. So that is working. If you're not already, make sure that you're already signed up with a CRA account and with automatic deposit so that it'll go smoother. You have to have that before you call. Otherwise, you have to get it in the mail, which could be, I don't know. Yeah, 7 to 10 days, they said, but who knows?
And that's all, that call-in, I believe, is based on birthday, right? To stop the...
Yeah, it's January, February, March today, April, May, June on Tuesday, July, August, September on Wednesday, and October, November, December on Thursday.
Perfect. So there you go. And then Friday's holiday for most.
And then after that, anybody can do it, but they're just trying to limit it. So yeah. So, okay, well, that's good. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the next 7 days. I heard that they were lining up the troops at Base Borden. So whether that federal legislation comes in or not, we don't know. But
well, I think they're trying to be careful with Easter too, right? It's going to be a hard time for a lot of people to self-quarantine.
Yeah.
And you know what? You got to be careful. It's a long weekend. I think right now we're in a big extended long weekend, but
yeah.
it's,
But you know what? I keep saying, just reach out and try and see if you can help your neighbors. But and stay safe, stay home. Let's get through this. I want to get through this so badly, and I know everyone does, with the least amount of lost life, for sure.
Yep, definitely. Okay.
Okay.
I guess that's it for this week, and
That's it.
we'll see a holiday Monday, I assume, right? No
Yes.
time off for us, right?
Yeah, no holiday. All right, stay safe, my friend.
Perfect. You too.
Let's
Okay.
zoom out of here. All right. Have a great week.
You too.
Bye.